Whoa, we're live. All right, I'm gonna wait to see if anybody pops in, and then especially see if our marketing and operations director, Molly, pops in. I'm assuming that it is just going to, oh, there we go, there's Molly. Molly, request to join, and then I'll let you up. Awesome. All right, here we go. All right, I think Molly's gonna hop in here. There we go. What's up, Molly?
Hey, we did it.
We did it. Can you hear me loud and clear? I know this beach is a little bit distracting because it's beautiful, but also probably distracting because it's loud. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great. I'm super jealous. I wish I was there.
Woo! So jealous. So for those who are joining in or watching this recorded, I'm in Encinitas, California. We're in the northern part of San Diego. This is where Hanu headquarters is, which is not where I live, actually. This is where Chris, our CEO, lives. Molly's where I live, which is in South Carolina. But I just wanted to make everybody jealous. If you weren't on the beach in California, well, join us virtually. Yeah. Indeed. All right. Well, hey, let's get this show on the road, man. It's been one of those crazy, busy weeks, which is because of all good things. But we wanted to do this Instagram Live as basically like a Q&A and intro as to what we're building at Hanu and what you now have access to, and you can pre-order. So I was like, hey, let's get Molly on the Hanu account. I'll come on my account, and then we'll just answer questions that either come in live for anybody who joins. So feel free to type in a question. But also, too, we have a lot of pre-listed questions. So what we'll do is we'll go through kind of like the scripted questions first, if you will. And then it will be a good thing to go through any like listener, whatever we call them, potential customer questions on here. How about we do this? First, let's introduce ourselves so that people know who we are. I'll go first. Dr. Jay Wiles, and the Chief Scientific Officer, co-founder at Hanu Health. Super excited to be here because I'm at the beach, number one. Number two is that we have some awesome stuff to tell you about in Hanu. And now, Molly, how about you go and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hey, Hanu community. I'm Molly. I do some marketing stuff for Hanu. Go live on social media, emails, website updates, all that good stuff. So here to provide you with information, get you as pumped about this as we are.
That's right. Sweet. I also want to mention, too, if anybody's wondering, yes, I don't know if you can see my feet right now, but I'm grounding. It's so great. So I feel like $1,000,000. Slept well last night, prepared, well caffeinated, and at the beach. So let's answer some questions. So Molly, I think you've got some rapid fires that we want to go through first, and then we'll go into some other questions.
Perfect. Yep, a rapid fire, and we'll start with a little bit of a softball. Jay, why don't you tell everyone what Hanu is?
Yeah, this is a great one because this is what I've like teased people with for so long now. So if anybody follows the podcast, have followed like us on the website or wherever like you hear anything about Hanu, we've been rather cryptic until this past week. So we released it to the world on Monday, started our pre-orders. So yes, we're a product-based company, but what Hanu Health is we are a venture-backed health technology company that makes wearable technology for stress resiliency, heart rate variability, and biofeedback. So there it is. Like that's Hanu Health right there. But actually, like I think what the power of Hanu Health is this, and then also this right here, and I'm pointing at my phone if that's not obvious. So we make software, and what we do is we monitor your stress response using a multitude of biometrics, including heart rate variability, and other things. Some things that I don't want to mention because I don't want anybody to steal stuff from us. I'm already paranoid. Watch out. But no, what we do is we monitor your stress response all throughout the day. And when we see you falling either in or out of your normalized ranges, which is very important, right? You're not being compared to anybody else. You're being compared to your data. Then what we do is we alert you. We alert you through haptics. This thing vibrates to let you know, it looks like you're kind of out of your range. It's time to check in. But the great thing is that when we notice that you're stressed, we provide you with a solution. Things like breath work, like biofeedback, meditation. We incorporate that into our device so that you can actually follow haptics and pace your breathing with your wrist wearable. And we'll talk about it. I know we have a question coming up about kind of the training and the monitoring. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But we are a wearable health technology company that continuously monitors your stress response and then gives you practical solutions to train better resiliency and adaptation to stress.
Nice. Yes. So you talk about HR and HRV. Those are things that we provide on the app itself. But another score that we definitely promote a lot is our custom stress resiliency score. So can you give people a little bit of an idea of what that is? Because that's probably a term that they haven't heard yet.
Yeah, so the stress resiliency score is going to be that big, beautiful score that you see on the home page. So if you go to our website, hanuhealth.com, there's my shameless plug to go ahead and get on there. Pre-order while you're at it. But if you go onto the website, what you'll see is a beautiful picture of this scale. It's kind of like this arch, and it's color coordinated, but it's called the Stress Resiliency Score. It is a proprietary aggregate score that utilizes a really sensitive and specialized algorithm to detect, again, these large-scale and subtle changes in the stress response to provide you with the most accurate feedback that we can in the moment. What that score is really telling you is how prepared is your body and mind to handle stress? How resilient are you in that moment? And again, it's taking in factors and variables that are kind of all over the board from a biometric standpoint and then user input standpoint. So what I mean by that is that when we see, again, that heart rate variability, if it's going up, because let's say you're engaging in biofeedback and breath work, and we're tracking those metric changes there, we know that you're doing that, then that score is going to go up because your body and your mind is now more resilient and you're more adaptive to stress. So when you actually engage in those practices, we reward you for it because your body is indeed, and your brain and your mind and your heart and your cardiovascular system are more adapted to change and more ready to handle stress as it comes at you. So that is absolutely our proprietary amazing score that you'll get throughout the day. It modulates, it changes. So with other wearables, a lot of times you get one score, and that's the score you carry throughout your day. You know, your readiness score or your whatever anybody else calls it. Ours will modulate throughout the day. So you know in any given moment, how resilient are you to handle stress throughout the day? Do you need to train? Are you looking good? We give you that info.
Yeah. So like my stress resiliency score might have been super low when we started this live, but hopefully it'll get higher and higher as we keep talking about it.
Yes, indeed. That's right. When you get more comfortable, and then remember, just engage in some nice, deep nasal breathing, that score's going to go up. You're more resilient.
Nice. Okay, so HRV, we heard that all before. We obviously capture that. What else do we capture on our device in the app, and why do we choose to capture these things?
Yeah, so HRV let's speak about HRV first.
Okay.
Just because a lot of people, when they get a wearable device, a lot of the wearable devices have HRV built in. But number one, no other devices other than maybe a few are capturing HRV continuously. There's actually only one other device that I know that is capturing HRV continuously. Ours is a really non-invasive means of capturing HRV continuously, but we also do a couple other things. We're not just capturing one metric of HRV. That's a huge problem of many other devices, right? Many other devices will just look at one singular metric, which is RMSSD. Now, RMSSD is a really highly valuable. It is like the gold standard of short-term measurements, of time domain measurements, but it's missing things. It's missing things like accessing the frequency domain measurements that are associated with HRV. It's missing things like PNN50. It's missing things like SDNN. There's a lot of different available biometrics out there within the HRV framework that most wearables do is that we actually know that there's a lot of great research out there that looks at these subtle or minor changes in heart rate and heart rate fluctuations. This is not just heart rate variability, but actual heart rate. And so we take that as a huge consideration in this stress resiliency score. The other thing too is we know that heart rate is going to go up and HRV is going to plummet when we're doing things like walking or exercising. You don't need to be alerted for that, and your stress resiliency it doesn't need to be penalized for you moving. If anything, it needs to go up. So we actually take all of those things into consideration by tracking movement and steps and knowing when you're not exercising and then adjusting accordingly within the app. It's a really smart app.
Yeah, totally. I did that.
Yes.
I'm in it to win it.
That's right.
What about the assessment? Like, what kind of things do we do within the app from an assessment standpoint to help kind of figure out people where they are?
Yeah, it's a great question. So assessments, when we talk about this term assessment within the context of our application, we're actually looking at different benchmarks. So we're collecting data all the time, but we need to set benchmarks. So one, for instance, if anybody is listening who's an Oxygen Advantage fan or coach, we built in this adaptable BOLT score into the application. BOLT is body oxygen level test. That's my shameless plug to go out and listen to one of the podcasts that I've done with Patrick. We've done about 1,000 of them now, where he talks about BOLT. And what we actually know is that this tells us a good kind of representation of our overall CO2 tolerance. We give you the ability to accurately measure BOLT within our application, save it, and then we'll give you trainings based on how you can increase your overall BOLT score. So we close the loop. That's a big thing, right? Is we want to ensure that we close the loop. Sorry, I had somebody behind me. I didn't know how distracting it was. It was a kid running around, but that's awesome. I love kids. But we give you that, and then you can track those trends over time. So basically what I mean by that is that you can actually look and see, is my BOLT score improving? What is resulting in an improved BOLT score? And then what can I do to better improve it? So that's an assessment. The other one would be the resonance frequency assessment. Now, resonance frequency assessment was coined by a guy named Dr. Paul Lair. He's a board advisor for us. So we know we're doing things right because Dr. Lair, Professor Emeritus at Rutgers, he's approving everything. So know that your resonance rate, which is not available on any other type of mobile-based application, if you want to know your resonance frequency rate, that perfect or optimal rate for increasing heart rate variability, you got to go get somebody who is a biofeedback clinician like myself, who's board certified in biofeedback and can run you through a full assessment on really expensive hardware. We're giving you this device on the wrist and software on mobile-based application that's going to allow for you to actually get a resonance rate, the perfect rate for breathing. We then store that information so that when you engage in resonance biofeedback, it's already populated. So if we found that your perfect breath rate is at 5 breaths per minute, that is populated within the resonance biofeedback training, and therefore you go for it. You can train without having to input it at 5 breaths per minute, or 6 or 6.5, whatever your resonant rate is. And then we also have other things like apnea tables, but I know I get a little bit long-winded and verbose. I get passionate about this stuff. So apnea tables, just look it up. We have adaptable apnea tables that are being built for the application.
Yeah, I mean, all of that sounds like a total game changer. We're already differentiating ourselves in the market, and I mean, we're not even halfway through these questions. So this is
that's right. That's
awesome.
right.
Awesome. So we capture data, obviously. We've talked about that enough at this point. But what happens next? Like, what's the next step from capturing the data? How do you use it?
One of the major pitfalls of wearable technology, there's a lot of great wearable technology. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing any other type of wearable right now. Obviously, I'm promoting Hanu. Like, we're the best stress resiliency technology. Okay. But one thing that we do know is that a lot of the information that you get is just information on these wearables. It's just data. And a lot of it just comes from nighttime. They give you a score, and then they don't really tell you, like, what to do with it. They don't give you practical solutions. Whereas that's how we do this, is that we give you amazing, accurate, great, useful information, but we close the loop. That's why we're called a closed loop feedback system. Great data, plus the opportunity in the moment or at any time you want to train and engage in practice. That is what differentiates us. So training is the key component. I mentioned things like resonance biofeedback. There's other forms of biofeedback that we've included as well. One of the cool things that we included is a lot of Oxygen Advantage trainings. I mean, Patrick has said, like, listen, let's build this into the application. Like, whatever we want to do, breathe light to breathe right. All of these other exercises we include, which can help with CO2 tolerance, can help with kind of these breathwork practices. We include things like box breathing, performance breathing, rescue type breathing. All of these things are included in our training component. And that, again, I think that's the best part of our application. Like, monitoring data is fun. It's great. I love knowing numbers. I'm a huge data nerd. But where the rubber meets the road and what truly differentiates us are two things. Number one, we are a stress resiliency wearable. Number two, we help you to train better resiliency. We give you a solution. We give you something that you can actually do in the moment. Nobody knows that has to know that you're doing it. It's a great application.
Yeah. And I mean, just to tease it a little bit more, the graphics and the animations in this app are sick. I think they look
they're so pretty. Yeah, they're so pretty.
Yeah. So, I mean, as if I wasn't already, I'm absolutely sold now. I'm ready to get my hands on one of these things. So
yes.
How do we do that? How do we get that? How do they order one? When can they expect it? What are the deets?
Yeah, love it. So we wanted to give like a killer deal for people so that like if you're early, like you are truly like the loyalists of the Hanu fan club and the Oxygen Advantage fan club and the Ben Greenfield fan club and all of our amazing advisors who we haven't talked about, but like go onto our website, hanuhealth.com, look at our list of advisors. Like, it's incredible.
Crazy.
Like, it's crazy. But anyway, hanuhealth.com/preorder, or you just go to hanuhealth.com, but /preorder gets you right to the page. You can look and see all of our all of our graphics. I mean, we didn't even talk about things like life events. Like, we allow you to track, like when you are alerted, when your stress response is increased, you're actually alerted and you can just click a button and tell us, hey, what was going on? Like, were you in a commute traffic? Did you just get in a fight with your coworker or boss or your spouse, whatever it may be? Did your kids like do something that made you really mad? I'm going to be pressing that one a lot on my device. But we have that opportunity. But sorry, I get derailed. Pre-orders, hanuhealth.com/preorder. We're giving everybody 40% off. So the retail of this price of this device is $300, $299 actually. We made it $299, so we felt like you were winning. You didn't get into the $300 mark. But we're giving everybody the first 1,000 people, they get this device for $180. They only have to put, and that's 40% off. They only have to put $29 down, and that is fully refundable. If they change their mind and say, you know what, like I don't know if I really want this device, or like finances are a little bit tough right now or pinched. Sure. Like, we'll give you your money back. We're not going to ask any questions. Like, we want to take stress off your back. We want to do it either two ways. One, by giving you your money back if you're in financial trouble. Number two, like, give you the device so that you can use this and kind of like be a rock star at handling chronic, really bad stress. Yeah. So $29 down. It's only for the first 1,000 people, but there's more. And I know I always sound like an infomercial, but we will give you a free $150 valued box of some amazing goodies. And I'm going to mention it live here because I think it's cool. One of the cool devices that you're going to get is what's called a Relaxator. It's actually a breathwork tool that allows you to change the amount of resistance from an exhale. You put it in your mouth, you inhale through your nose, and you blow out through this thing, and you can change the resistance to slow breathing down, enhance CO2 tolerance. It's great. So everybody, the first 1,000 gets a Relaxator, and then there's a bunch of other things that you get as well. And then the other thing is that out of the first 1,000 people that buy this device, everyone will be entered in to win a potential 1-hour coaching session with our advisor, Ben Greenfield. So like, that's a crazy value in and of itself. $150 value box, a device that's $299 that you get for $180, and then you enter in with a chance to have a live one-on-one session. He'll answer all the questions that you possibly have. Ben freaking Greenfield. Like, that's cool, guys. That's so cool.
Super cool. Employees in on that? If I do a pre-order, can I have that?
So, we'll have to have a little sidebar about that. I might just, tag my old buddy Ben and just see if he can just do you a favor. We'll give it out to other people. So, yeah.
Legit. Okay, so a lot of great stuff headed to people's mailboxes. When will they physically be in mailboxes? And what kind of mailboxes do we go to?
Yeah, no, indeed. So we have all the reason to believe that our current stated on our website shipping in your hands is late summer, July or August. We have, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we have not been derailed on that schedule. You will get the device as of right now in July or August. So we really look like we're going to hold to that, and you are going to be so excited to have this thing in your hands. Where do we ship? The answer to that is that it gets a little bit complicated because every country has different rules. Obviously, all of North America we ship to, US, Canada, Mexico. However, we ship to almost everywhere. What we say is go onto our website, enter into your address wherever you are, and then if it lets you purchase it, it's coming to you. If it doesn't, then send us a DM, and we'll try to talk through that and see if there's any possible way that we can open it for the country that you're in. We selected the ones that we felt pretty sure that we weren't going to have as many problems with. But, with international shipping of a hardware device, it gets a tad bit complicated. So go try to place your purchase order. And if a DM or an email, info@hanuhealth.com, and we'll try to work with it because we want to get this to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody around the world could use device for any reason that they need it for. And two, just another shameless plug, sign up for our emails because we'll be updating our subscribers with that type of information too. let you know when you can reach it in more places, and all the information as it gets ready to ship. So those were all of our pre-asked, pre-written questions. I want to spend some time jumping into some user questions that we got about. That you good?
Yeah,
Great.
that sounds good. Am I cutting out? You were cutting out just a tiny bit, but I think it's okay.
A little bit. I'm just kind of chalking it up to beach, but I think. All right.
Yeah,
So
you're cutting out a good part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there going to be a mode or a setting that is used for fitness or when people are engaging in activity, and specifically related to how it can track and help you manage your recovery?
Yeah, it's a great question. So one of the things that we've made just kind of a decision on for right now is that we are a stress resiliency company, and we know that exercise truly helps with enhancing stress resiliency. It's one of the best things that we can possibly do for overall mental health and well-being. With that said, as of right now, we will know when you're exercising, but there is not necessarily a reason for us to be tracking continuous heart rate variability. We could track heart rate during exercise, but there's not really a reason for us to capture that data. Before and after a workout, there are good reasons for that, but during a workout, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's basically useless data that's not practical. It might be interesting to you, but it's not practical. So right now, we can use it to help inform your nervous system's readiness to handle certain types of workouts, but we're not using it kind of, let's say, similar to Whoop to help inform like how hardcore your workout was, or like how much it impacted your overall nervous system functioning to that extent, like through a workout. But before and after can be a really good snapshot.
Okay. No, that's awesome. I think that answers that question really well. And talking about, there obviously are other devices out there that focus on sleep, focus on training and activity. We've got a lot of questions. How do we differentiate? Like, you've answered this too, some already, but just with all the other devices that are out there, like what separates us? Why would someone need us in addition to some of the other wearables that they currently have? Just basically repeat everything you just said in the last 20 minutes, and that's the answer.
Right. We are hardcore stress focused. I mean, we are there for that individual who's like, I need to know when I am stressed, what is causing me stress, and then what do I do about it? Mm-hmm. So that is what we're really focused on. Most of the wearables that you have on today, they don't provide a lot of great information throughout the day, and that's what we really are. We are a daytime wearable right now. You can wear it at night and track HRV and heart rate at night, and we'll give you great info. But we're really meant there to be your stress and biofeedback coach that you wear throughout the day. Someone that is monitoring your stress response and giving you practical tools and solutions to handle stress and adapt better to stress throughout the day. There are no other PPG wearables on the wrist, on the arm that are doing that right now. And that is what we are doing. We are focused on that. All of our IP and patentability is around this whole idea of creating the most stress resilient people that are not being emotionally volatile. They're not acting out. They're not imploding and socially isolating. They're living life to their fullest and being passionate. Like, that is what we really want to have with this device.
Yeah. So calling all moms. That's
right.
A game changer.
Exactly. Or the person, the exact like can't get his bearings or her bearings straight, and they just need some help. To a job that's really, really painful, and they just want some bit of help and saying, hey, wake up, like, you're stressed, you're freaking stressed. Here's something that you can do about it right now. You don't have to wait. Like, here's what you can do right now in the moment, and we'll tell you and give you that information and help you to train better resiliency now, not later, now.
Unreal. And then another question, kind of jumping back into the HRV of it all. As far as HRV training, we had some people write in say that they're not exactly sure what all is involved there. How, like, does it incorporate biofeedback? Is it breath work, or is it meditation? Like, what exactly is HRV training, and how does this tool allow them to train with that?
Yeah, it's a great question because there's a lot of overlap in some of the terminology that's used, right? So, like, I'm very familiar with using the words biofeedback. That's more of a clinical term, and most people don't know what that means. But that is what we do a lot of, is biofeedback. What biofeedback is basically giving you information on changes within your physiology and psychophysiology so that you can use it as a source of information to know either what you need to train and how to train it, and then also to how efficacious or how well is that level of training working. Because we wanted to include a ton of different mechanisms for training so that you can then use your data to determine what is the most optimal thing for you. Is it resonance biofeedback? Is it box breathing? Is it doing some oxygen advantage type breathwork training? Is it some other form of custom breathing where you change your breath holds, you change your inhalations, your exhalations? You could check your data. Like, you could see exactly how well these breathwork tools or these biofeedback tools are effectively working for you. So when we say HRV training, we're talking about meditation, biofeedback, breathwork, oxygen advantage skills. Like, all of these fall into that category. I just use a better umbrella of HRV training, but that's what we mean.
Nice. Yeah. So we offer a lot of things. That's great. And then there's another question about shipping to Dubai. And I think, you covered that. Just when in doubt, try an order. If it lets you go, then you'll get one and you're in on this pre-order special. So that's pretty much it. The only other question I have that someone's asked, and then we can scroll through, see if anybody's asking any more on the live. What does the app subscription include? So, you're paying for this device, and then you're paying a monthly subscription to keep up with the app. What's the need for how?
Well, let me pause. You are not paying a monthly subscription when you pre-order for the first year.
Perfect.
So when you pay that $180 that we'll collect, $29 now, $151 when we ship. You are paying for a full year and the hardware. You keep the hardware. The hardware is always yours. You never have to return the hardware if you decide not to resubscribe after the first year is done. So $180 covers hardware, software, everything for the first year.
Perfect.
After that, if you pre-order, we're going to give you 40% off of what the monthly fee is after the first year. So after the first year that you paid for already, it's going to cost normally $19 a month to utilize the software hardware integration. However, you get it for $12. So 40% off of 19 is 12. So you're grandfathered in if you pre-order. And again, if you use it for the first year and you say, oh man, I got my worth out of it, like I don't need it anymore, no questions asked, but you don't have to resubscribe. So that there's no monthly fee, again, monthly subscription for the first year. After that, anybody who pre-orders, you get 40% off on it.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. So I think between you and me, we represent a pretty good grouping of customers that we're going for. So you've got your biohacking, you've got your experience and knowledge, you're obviously certified in all of these things. I'm just simply a person who needs to figure out how to stress less. So I think this app and product offers something for everybody.
No, it's a great point, Molly, because this device is meant for everybody. Like the biohacker, health optimizer, breathwork, health coach, like that person is going to be so thrilled with ease of use, and they're going to be so thrilled with all the crazy amount of data and opportunities for training. The normal individual who doesn't really care about all the advanced data and biometrics is just going to say, this thing is so easy to use because it gives me an alert of when I'm stressed. It helps me to train in the moment. I have better self-awareness of stress, better self-regulation of stress. I'm good to go. It cost me $180, which it could have cost. Not saying those things are bad, but saying that this is such a great thing to add that is so inexpensive compared to, let's say, like having to pay for therapy or coaching every single week. And if you're doing that, no harm, no foul, that's great. But you can add this as an adjunctive, which is so cool. Molly, like you're spinning, so I don't know if I lost you. Yep, I think I lost Molly. So anyway, I'm going to scroll through now and see if there's any questions. Molly must have had a bad connection, so hopefully everybody can still see and hear me. Saw the question about the release date. So again, that's coming out in July, August of this year, hopefully sooner. Will the breathwork biofeedback training be similar to Leaf's device? Good question. Didn't want to talk about other competitors, but ours is extremely advanced. So we include a wide array, exponentially more biometrics and exponentially more opportunities to train. So right now, I mean, we're building out 10, 15 forms of training of different breathwork and biofeedback. How does it vary from other products? I kind of already answered that, but that great question. That's from Jude, who's an OA coach. Man, my Oxygen Advantage people, love you guys. You guys are the best. Let's see here. When will it be ready for market? July, August. How is the device better than Whoop or Garmin or Aura? I don't like to use the word better, Bob, but great question. I like to use the word different. Again, we are a stress resilient focused type company that is so focused on this idea of helping people to better manage stress that's really affecting them. Like in the podcast, I talk about this idea about how we can use hormesis and stress to really help build us back better, faster, stronger, and more resilient human beings. But the one thing that we want to keep in mind too is that chronic stress that we experience throughout the day, we can, number one, measure it, and then we can also train resiliency throughout the day so that we can make other aspects of life better. And that's such like an invaluable thing for people. So I won't say that we're better than any other device. We're just very different in that we are continuously monitoring you throughout the day, and we're providing feedback throughout the day. And then the best thing is the opportunity to train resilience throughout the day. And that is not what other devices on the market are doing right now. So great question. Are we going to have certified coaches? I'm going to leave this as a teaser for you all. But as you all know, if you follow me for a while now, I mean, I'm a clinical health psychologist, and my passion is training, it's education, it's coaching, it's speaking. And so for me, I'm always open and love the idea of having people who are certified in things like Oxygen Advantage, as well as Hanu and utilization of Hanu in conjunction with Oxygen Advantage. So hold on, it's coming. I don't want to give too much more information because I don't want you to be like, well, where is that thing? Is it coming tomorrow? The answer to the when is it coming is I don't quite know, but it is absolutely coming because I want you to be able to coach people and then have access to all their data if they give you permission, and then be able to review it with them in the moment with their device on your computer, be able to review all that stuff in cloud-based storage systems. So just hold on, it's coming. All right. I don't see any other questions now. Molly went MIA, so you had to deal with me. But hey, you got the beach, right? Like you got the beautiful North San Diego beach in the background. So hopefully that was well worth it. You guys, so excited to have you on board. We are selling out so incredibly fast. Like the only way to ensure that you can get here and get on is to go buy it now and pre-order it. $180. It's 40% off. Because once the 1,000 are sold, like we're going up to that retail price, like we just have to. We wanted to give everybody like a killer deal to where like we're not just like making like insane amounts of money off this device, because we want people who are like the loyalists of the Hanu crowd, the OA crowd, to jump in and to really get a hold of this. All right, everybody, and thank you all so much for talking about the pre-orders. Is that Dog Beach in Del Mar? No, I think this is Moon Beach in Encinitas. That might be what it's called? I don't know. I'm not a native of here. I'm just visiting our headquarters. So I think it's called Moon Beach in Encinitas, maybe? I know I'm in Encinitas. But anyway, all right, everybody. You guys have a wonderful day. We're going to post this Instagram Live on our Hanu Health page and on my page as well. Everybody, take care. Have a wonderful day. Feel free to reach out and ask us questions. Anything you have related to this device. I see Molly's trying to request to get back in, but I think we answered all the questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and log us off. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon. info@hanuhealth.com. If you have any questions, DM us at Hanu Health. Peace out, everybody.